Hi, hello. In this brief session, we are going to discuss very important, but apparently it looks very simple concept, that is liberal democracy. Liberal democracy. Often we will come across this concept of liberal democracy in print and electronic media, and whenever we discuss about fundamental rights, civic rights, the freedom in democracy. This is liberal democracy. It ought not to be this way. This is liberal democracy. The rights of citizens should not be trampled upon. This is how many times we come across this political creed, liberal democracy. What does liberal democracy mean? Liberal democracy, it is one of the important components of liberalism. And liberal democracy comprises three important components. One is free, competitive, and regular elections. Free, competitive, and regular elections. Third, constitutionalism. And third one, vibrant civil society. First and foremost component of liberal democracy is free, competitive, and regular elections. Second is constitutionalism. And third component is vibrant civil society. Free, competitive, and regular elections. Free elections means there should not be any force, coercion, threats on the part of the candidates who are going to contest the elections. Burning the houses of opposition party members, killing their family members, raping their women, forcing them to flee away from their place. They do not come under free elections. There should not be any such kind of external threats and inhibitions on the part of the people who are going to contest the elections. Competitive. There should be an environment of amicability in which all the parties, all the candidates should be able to contest the elections without any fear, without any kind of temptations, without any kind of allurements. That means there should not be any temptation for cash, freebies, and other emotional aspect of the voter, instigating the emotional aspect of the voter such as caste, region, language, etc. At the same time, there should be regular elections every 5 years, every 4 years, every 3 years, whatever may be the prescribed the time limit for elections. For instance, in India, for every 5 years, Lok Sabha elections are held. For every 5 years, assembly elections are held. This is how free, competitive, and regular elections. Not just regular elections, but free and competitive. That means there should not be any external physical threats. There should not be any kind of economic or material temptations for the voters. This is the first and foremost component of liberal democracy. Second, constitutionalism. What does constitutionalism mean? It means checks on the authority of the state. Checks on the authority of the state, so that it should not violate the civic rights of citizens. Constitutionalism, very important one. Recently it has been asked in prelims. What is the main purpose of constitution? There should be checks on the authority of the state so that it should not violate the rights of the people of the country. What are the devices of constitutionalism through which checks on the arbitrary authority of the state can be ensured? The constitutionalism can be realized through these measures, such as supremacy of the constitution, supremacy of the constitution. What does supremacy of the constitution mean? It means any law made by parliament or state legislature should be according to the provisions of the constitution. Otherwise, such law will be declared null and void. That is supremacy of the constitution. Fundamental rights. The citizen should have protection not only from the executive excesses but also the legislative excesses. That means citizen should have protection not only from the arbitrary actions of the executive but also the cruel laws that might be legislated by the legislature. That is fundamental rights. Rule of law. Rule of law. Then judicial review. Judicial review. Federalism. Democratic decentralization. These are the means by which checks on the arbitrary actions of the executive can be imposed so that the state should not violate the fundamental rights or civic rights of the people of the country. Third important component of liberal democracy is vibrant civil society. A strong and vibrant civil society. A strong and vibrant civil society. A strong and vibrant civil society is very, very essential for effective functioning of any democracy, whether it is parliamentary democracy or presidential form of government. First of all, what does civil society mean? Civil society refers to the sum total of all the voluntary associations. In other words, it can also be said, civil society refers to non-profit, non-state voluntary organizations. Non-state, that means which are not government, and non-profit, which are not working with the profit motive. Non-state, non-profit voluntary organizations. Non-state, non-profit voluntary organizations. Alex de Tocqueville, the famous French political thinker, he says institutions of civil society, they function as schools of democracy. They function as schools of democracy. Why? They play a vital role in protection of rights of people. recently, when there were custodial tortures, custodial deaths in Tamil Nadu, it is the institutions of civil society which highlighted such violation of human rights, because of which the erring police officials were suspended and investigation has been ordered. In the same vein, there was a custodial death in Telangana because of the agitation in social media. The erring police officials were dismissed from the services. This is how civil society plays vital role in the protection of fundamental rights and civic rights of the people of the country. Second, they supplement the efforts of the government. They supplement the efforts of the government. What does it mean? In socio-economic development of the country, the institutions of civil society, in the socio-economic development of the country, the institutions of civil society, such as NGOs, charitable institutions, etc., they contribute their part by rendering quality education and health services to the poorest of the poor. In our life, we have observed many charitable institutions such as Ramakrishna Math Mission, Vivekananda Kendra, Christian missionaries. They run chain of schools across the nation to inculcate quality education at free of cost or at the most at affordable rates, affordable price, affordable cost. This is how they strengthen the efforts of the government in socio-economic development of the country. In the same vein, these institutions of civil society, they run a chain of hospitals to render quality health services to poorest of the poor. This is how they contribute for progressive socio-economic change. They train people on democratic line. They train people on democratic lines. That means in Telugu speaking states, there is an NGO called Lok Satta. It has been spreading the democratic values and virtues amongst the people for the past 2.5 decades. It has been publishing the criminal antecedents, the assets and liabilities and educational qualifications of the candidates who are contesting in the elections. It always highlights the banes of voting on primordial loyalties such as caste, region, religion, language, etc. In the same vein, it has been spreading the banes of freebies. For the sake of freebies, if you vote, our country may turn like Sri Lanka. And it has been spreading awareness amongst the people how to participate in IASbaba, which is the cornerstone of the entire edifice of Panchayat Raj system. And the head of Lok Satta, Jaiprakash Narayan, he has delivered a number of valuable speeches in Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi. And he advised Daden Prime Minister Manmohan Singh with regard to drafting and passage of many and vital bills such as Right to Information Act, Lokpal Lokayukta, etc. This is how institutions of civil society are very, very essential for effective functioning of any form of democracy. Hence, liberal democracy comprises three important components. First and foremost, free, competitive and regular elections. Second, constitutionalism. Third, a vibrant and strong civil society. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope this session is very interesting and informative to you. IASbaba is going to start PSIR optional in July. The interested candidates can join in the optional course. Thank you. Thanks a lot.